As we've discussed, there are some foundational steps that youth mentoring programs can take to work towards measuring program outcomes. Let's consider how super scholars work their way towards outcome evaluation. First, they started by building a logic model, which helped define the outcomes they hope youth are achieving by participating in their program. Next, they identified process evaluation questions and benchmarks to assess if the activities and outputs that contribute to those outcomes are happening as they intended. Through this, they learned that the ongoing training for mentors that they were planning on was not happening as often as intended. This helped them make changes to the structure of their ongoing training so more mentors could participate. Finally, they identified some instruments to help measure relationship quality for their specific program. Through the survey instrument they administered to mentors and mentees, they discovered some things that were preventing mentees from developing strong relationships with their mentors. Without the process evaluation and without relationship quality measures in place, super scholars would have missed some important insights about their program operations that could have greatly impacted their program outcomes. With a strong foundation in place, Super Scholars was able to start evaluating their program outcomes at two different levels. First, they identified several outcomes that they could monitor over the course of the year or compare pre post participation data from mentors and mentees. For example, for monitoring mentee grades, they found that mentored youth were improving in most areas, but unfortunately, math was the one area that wasn't showing much growth. They also found that mentored youth saw improvements in school attendance, but not in their disciplinary referrals. As a result of these discoveries, the program decided to bring in extra math tutors the next year and gave future mentors more training on talking with their mentee about managing conflict and controlling emotions as part of their open discussion times. As a result of their outcomes monitoring, they also tracked down alumni of their program and found that 86% had graduated high school and 64% had at least enrolled in college, both of which were higher than the overall district average, and in spite of the fact that the program specifically serves students who were struggling at the time. The insights super scholars gained from outcomes monitoring helped them identify program improvements and provided valuable data to share with program partners and funders. As a next step in their program evaluation, super scholars decided to invest the time, money, and staff capacity to conduct a full impact evaluation, a comparison study to evaluate whether their program was having its intended impact on participants. In this study, they evaluated new matches in their program against a comparison group of similar students at another school. While this took a lot of careful planning and the help of an external evaluator, it helped them learn that the mentored students in their program generally had better grades, better attendance, and fewer disciplinary problems compared to the students at the other school. In fact, even in the areas where mentored youth didn't improve much, the youth at the other school declined in those things. So the program was even helpful in preventing backsliding on the challenges that the youth were facing. So the program did have some real causal proof that it was making a difference academically. The superintendent was so impressed that they not only kept funding for the program, but also asked the other five schools in the district to begin offering it, including at the school that had served as the comparison. In our example, it was a happy ending for super scholars, but it can also be a rough journey for you. You may find more things to fix or less of an impact than you had hoped for, but know that you never would have improved any of it if you hadn't had the courage to look in the first place. So I really encourage everyone in this field to maximize your evaluation efforts, strive for continual improvement over time, and measure your relationships and your outcomes to make sure you're hitting the mark. After all, we owe our youth more than just a mentor. We owe them a programmatic experience that is as strong as can be and preparation for a future in which we've helped them thrive as much as possible. This final section offers some additional tips and things to keep in mind as you set about designing an evaluation that fits your needs, including some key tips to remember about data collection. And because we've hinted throughout this that evaluation is one area where some real professional expertise is helpful, we also provide a few tips on working with an external evaluator and how to get some free consulting advice about all this from the National Mentoring Resource Center. Well, here we are at the end of our Evaluation 101 journey. I want to thank you all for hanging in there and thinking about all these different aspects of doing a program evaluation. In this last chapter, consider where your organization has room to build capacity and what type of support might be helpful to get you to the next level. No matter where your program is at in its program evaluation development, there's always room to improve and strengthen your practices. Thank you for all that you do to support positive youth development through mentoring relationships, and we wish you luck on your future evaluation work.